Remember when losing a tooth wasn't, just a biological inconvenience?
Oh, right. It was a highly anticipated financial transaction.
Exactly. With an actual invisible fairy. I want you to take a second and really put yourself back in that mindset. Think about the absolute, unquestioning wonder you had for things that today you probably just, walk right past.
Yeah, like a thick layer of frost on the morning grass.
Right. It wasn't just a weather pattern. It was this overnight, inexplicable transformation of your entire backyard. And you didn't care about the logistics of, how Santa Claus could defy physics to visit every child on Earth in a single night.
You just knew he did it.
With every fiber of your being. As kids, life was inherently magical, and that invisible realm of possibility was an undeniable reality.
And that perspective, it's defined by an inherent thrill. The world isn't a machine made of cold, hard facts. It's a living storybook. But then, inevitably, we grow up. We transition into what our sources today actually call the disillusioned adult.
Yeah, the magic fades.
Exactly. It gets replaced by mortgages, traffic, and just the sheer friction of daily life.
We convince ourselves that childhood wonder was just this cute, naive phase, right? Like something we had to outgrow to face the real world, which, by the way, is exactly why stressed out adults flock to children, isn't it?
Oh, totally. To catch that feeling again.
Yeah, when you're around a kid who is experiencing pure awe over, a butterfly, you get to catch this fleeting secondhand glimpse of the magic you lost. But what if we have that entire dynamic completely backward? That is the mission of our deep dive today.
It's a pretty massive paradigm shift we're looking at.
It really is. We are unpacking a fascinating stack of sources today. We've got a YouTube transcript from a channel called Growth Foundations, a really detailed breakdown article by Gabrielle Hong, some publication data from Wikipedia, and the actual introduction to Rhonda Byrne's 2012 book, The Magic.
And the core premise uniting all this material is a pretty audacious claim.
It is. The claim is that our childhood perspective was actually the objective truth, and it is our weary adult realism that is entirely false.
It's a premise that really demands your attention because, Byrne isn't just saying cheer up. She's proposing that the invisible realm where magic operates is functional and, more importantly, accessible.
Right.
Today, we are going to lay out the exact blueprint our sources provide for hacking back into that reality. But to understand how to get that magic back, we first have to look at the surprising origins of this framework.
Because Rhonda Byrne didn't develop these ideas while, meditating in a state of lifelong spiritual bliss.
Not at all. The origins are actually incredibly unmagical, which is, I think, what makes it so relatable.
Yeah.
According to the Growth Foundation's transcript, Byrne discovered the core concepts behind her work during one of the absolute darkest periods of her life.
Like a total crisis.
Yeah, she was dealing with intense grief. Her father had just passed away. Her business was collapsing. She was at rock bottom, a complete systemic failure of her life.
Wow.
And it was right there, in that pit of despair, that she stumbled upon what she considered to be an ancient truth, specifically the law of attraction.
Which is the concept that your thoughts act like magnets, right? Fundamentally shaping your external reality.
Exactly. And she used this to radically transform her own mindset and the entire trajectory of her life. That personal transformation is what birthed her 2006 global phenomenon, The Secret.
Okay, let's unpack this, because this is where I need to play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure, go for it.
If we look at the Wikipedia data, The Magic was published in 2012. It's a 272-page book translated into 41 languages. Oh. And it's the third book in her series, following The Secret, and another one called The Power.
Right.
My question is, why was a third book necessary at all? The Secret already taught millions of people around the globe how to visualize their dreams, eliminate their scarcity mindset, and attract what they want. What void is a 272-page book called The Magic actually filling?
That's the crucial distinction the YouTube source makes, actually. It beautifully contrasts the two books to answer that exact question. Think of The Secret as a compass.
A compass, okay.
Yeah, it is designed to give you a broad visionary direction. Its tone is bold, it's highly motivational, and it directly tackles the big roadblocks, like the fear of the unknown. It is the perfect entry point if you are a beginner who just needs to be shaken awake to the idea that you actually have a say in your own reality.
So The Secret is like the big, sweeping, cinematic establishing shot. It gives you the why.
Precisely. And The Magic is described as its soulful sibling.
Oh, I like that phrase.
Yeah, it is much softer and more nurturing. The Growth Foundation's transcript describes its tone as feeling like a warm hug. If the secret provides you with the grand vision, the magic acts as your daily planner. It provides the absolute how.
So it moves you away from just theoretical belief and forces you into a habitual daily practice.
Exactly. It's the practical application.
But a planner's just a stack of paper if you don't have a method. If the magic is the practical step-by-step daily planner, what is the actual engine? Like, what is the mechanism or the fuel that makes this daily planner function?
Well, to find the engine, we have to look at the Gabrielle Hong article. She reveals the specific mechanism Byrne uses, and she frames the entire book around a very mysterious, almost riddle-like passage from the Bible.
Oh, really? Which one?
Matthew 13:12. The original text reads, "Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them."
Wait, on its face, that sounds like a brutal psychological trap.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you read that literally, it sounds like the ultimate cosmic injustice. The rich get richer and the poor or, the depressed get everything stripped away from them. How does someone at rock bottom read that and not feel completely defeated?
It is deeply alienating until Byrne points out that there is a hidden word essentially missing from how we culturally interpret that text.
A hidden word?
Yeah, a single word that, when inserted, changes the entire meaning of the passage from a cruel economic rule into a highly functional psychological formula.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the hidden word is gratitude. Listen to how the passage transforms when you plug that word in. Whoever has gratitude will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have gratitude, even what they have will be taken from them.
It flips the script entirely. It's no longer about material wealth or cosmic favoritism. It's about an internal state of being.
But help me connect the dots here for the listener. Because, we are all taught to say thank you. It's basic politeness.
Yeah.
You hold the door for me, I say thank you. I get a birthday present, I write a thank you note.
Right, the standard social contract.
Exactly. So how does Byrne elevate gratitude from just being basic societal manners into an actual reality-bending manifestation technique? Like, how is politeness bending reality?
Well, we have to move past the idea of manners entirely and look at the actual cognitive behavioral mechanism at play here. The sources explain that practicing deep intentional gratitude fundamentally shifts the architecture of your brain.
Oh, so.
It forces your mind to shift its focus from what I lack to what I love.
Moving from lack to love. That sounds poetic, but what is physically happening there in the brain?
Okay, so when you are in a state of lack, your brain is actively scanning your environment for threats. Your amygdala is engaged, you are anxious, you are holding on tightly to what little you think you have, and your focus is entirely narrowed on survival.
So you're basically in fight or flight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You literally cannot see opportunities because your brain is filtering them out as completely irrelevant to your immediate survival. But when you actively practice gratitude, you engage the prefrontal cortex. You override that threat response and create what the sources call emotional abundance.
Oh, wow. So it's about altering your reticular activating system.
Yes.
That's the part of the brain that filters out unnecessary information.
Yeah.
Like when you buy a red car and suddenly you see red cars absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, they were always there.
Right. But your brain wasn't prioritizing them. So by practicing gratitude, you are manually programming your brain to prioritize and spot abundance, solutions, and opportunities that you were previously completely blind to just because you were so panicked about what you lacked.
That is the exact mechanism. By taking the time to truly feel grateful, you lower that baseline anxiety. You open your perceptual filters. The formula posits that without taking that intentional time to be grateful, you will never notice or attract more.
And the anxiety of lack will eventually cause you to self-sabotage.
Or just lose whatever good things you currently possess. Exactly.
That reframes it completely. It's not just politely acknowledging a gift. It's a physiological and emotional rewiring of how you experience the present moment. It's a survival tool.
And that cognitive rewiring is what creates the magnetic pull to bring more abundance into your life.
Okay, understanding that concept intellectually is one thing. I think most people listening would agree that, sure, being thankful is good for your mental health.
Of course.
But actually default setting your brain to gratitude when you're stuck in traffic or dealing with a crisis or navigating grief like Byrne was, that requires a serious, rigid regimen. How does this book actually train you to do that?
Well, as we established earlier, the magic isn't a philosophical guide you just passively consume. It is a highly structured, hands-on, 28-day cognitive behavioral protocol. It's just thinly veiled as a mystical workbook.
Right.
You are required to actively journal and create specific daily rituals.
I love the visual that was included with the Gabrielle Hong article. It shows a classic magician in a suit and bow tie, holding a wand over a top hat, and there are these bright, glowing blue sparks pulling upward out of the hat.
It's a great image.
It's the perfect visual because this section of the book is literally about creating practical everyday magic. It's about taking ordinary mundane things like paying your utility bills or eating a standard Tuesday night dinner or just looking at your own body in the mirror and using gratitude to pull sparks out of them.
It's about finding the extraordinary in the mundane. And the 28 days aren't just a random assortment of journal prompts. There is a very specific psychological progression designed to build your momentum.
Okay, how does that break down?
The sources break it down into 3 distinct phases. Phase 1 covers days 1 through 12. This phase is entirely focused on harnessing the power of gratitude for what you have already received in the past and what you are receiving in your present moment.
Wait, why start there? Why not jump right into visualizing the sports car or the promotion?
Because you can't build a mansion on a swamp.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, if your baseline state is still vibrating with resentment about your past or dissatisfaction with your present, trying to manifest a better future is just slapping a Band-Aid on a wound.
You're still in lack.
Exactly. Phase 1 is about taking a rigorous inventory of the life you already have. The lungs currently breathing air, the coffee you had this morning, the friends who have supported you. You have to build a rock-solid baseline of thankfulness first.
Setting the foundation. You literally cannot ask for more if your brain hasn't registered that you're already well provided for.
Once that cognitive foundation is strong, you move into phase 2, which is days 13 through 22. This is where the pivot happens. You take that intense emotional momentum of gratitude you've generated over nearly 2 weeks, and you turn it toward your future.
Oh, I see.
You start applying it to your desires, your dreams, and the things you want to manifest.
Which ties right back into the law of attraction from The Secret. You are expressing gratitude for the things you want, almost as if they have already arrived. You are feeling the relief and joy of having the promotion before the interview even happens.
And because you spent phase 1 training your brain to truly feel gratitude, this future casting doesn't feel like a hollow lie. It feels like an inevitable reality.
Right, your brain believes it now.
Yes. And finally, we reach phase 3, days 23 through 28. This is where you reach a new level of mastery. You start using gratitude not just to enrich your own life, but to help others and to actively dismantle negative circumstances or toxic situations.
That transition from self to others is the hallmark of actual emotional maturity. To give everyone listening a really concrete idea of what this daily work actually looks like, I want to bypass the easy stuff and zero in on one of the hardest days in the program. Let's look closely at day 15. The theme for day 15 is magically heal your relationships.
This is arguably the most difficult and the most powerful exercise in the entire 28-day journey.
It really is, largely because of how much psychological resistance it brings up. Hong's article explains this using a metaphor. It says that living with a broken heart or holding on to deep unforgiveness towards someone who wronged you is like grasping a burning hot coal in your bare hand with the intention of eventually throwing it at the other person.
Now, that's a metaphor we've all heard before, but what is the actual physics of that image? When you hold a hot coal waiting for the right moment to throw it, who is the one actively burning?
You are. You are the only victim. The person you were furious at might be miles away, living their life, completely unaware of your anger while your hand is blistering. Now, I know the hot coal is a bit of an ancient, overused trope, so let's modernize it. Holding on to resentment is like downloading malware onto your own computer with the hope that it will somehow hack someone else's operating system.
That is a brilliant way to frame it.
You aren't hurting them. You are just corrupting your own files. You are crashing your own system.
You are intentionally infecting your own reticular activating system with a virus of negativity. Day 15 is designed to act as the antivirus software. It forces you to drop the coal. It forces you to delete the malware.
So how do you do it? How do you delete it when you feel entirely justified in your anger?
The exercise requires you to confront the malware head-on. You have to select one difficult person, someone with whom you have a deeply broken, strained, or toxic relationship. You sit down with your journal, you write down their name, and you have to list 10 specific things you are grateful for about that person.
Wait, 10 things?
10 things.
That sounds excruciating if you are actively angry at someone. How do you find 10 things to be grateful for in someone who betrayed you or hurt you?
It's an immense mental and emotional workout. It feels impossible at first. But the format is very strict. You write, name I'm grateful for what? And you cannot stop until you find 10 genuine things. You have to dig through the layers of resentment to find the gold.
So even if it's something incredibly small or from years ago, like I'm grateful for the time you helped me fix my car, or I'm grateful you introduced me to that band I like.
Or even, I'm grateful this painful experience taught me how strong my own boundaries need to be.
Wow. So you are forcing your brain to acknowledge that this person is not a one-dimensional villain,
Yeah.
and that value did exist in the interaction.
Yes, you are breaking the absolute narrative of lack and pain. And the profound, liberating takeaway from this specific practice is that the relationship itself may never actually change.
Right.
You might remain entirely estranged from this person. They might never apologize. They might never even know you did this exercise. But that isn't the point.
The point isn't to fix them or even to invite them back into your life.
The point is that the practitioner you receives the gift of peace and healing. By forcing your brain to identify 10 points of gratitude, the resentment simply loses its physiological grip. The malware is quarantined, you drop the hot coal, your hand stops burning, and you get to move forward to a new level of your life, completely unburdened by their ghost.
That is incredibly potent. It takes gratitude completely out of the realm of polite manners or toxic positivity and turns it into a ruthless, emotional survival tool. You are weaponizing gratitude to reclaim your own peace.
It perfectly illustrates what the daily walk looks like in action. It's not about wishing for a better past. It's about actively changing your current emotional state so you can build a better future.
So to bring this all together for everyone listening, let's look at the overarching journey our sources have laid out today. We started with Rhonda Byrne hitting rock bottom, her life completely stalling out, and her discovering a concept that changed her internal reality. She gave the world the secret, which acts as the grand vision. It opens the door to what is possible and teaches us that our thoughts have magnetic power. It shows us the map.
But having a map doesn't mean you're actually walking the trail. Vision without action is just a pleasant dream.
And that is exactly where the magic steps in. It hands you the boots and tells you to start walking. It takes an intimidating abstract concept like the law of attraction and distills it into a 28-day, step-by-step cognitive behavioral workbook.
Yeah.
Together, these two resources are designed to create a life that is rooted in belief, but grown and sustained through the gritty, daily discipline of gratitude.
It reminds us that magic isn't a passive event that happens to you. Magic is how you choose to filter, see, and interact with the world every single day.
So what does this all mean for you? We started this deep dive by asking you to remember how it felt to be a kid, to believe in Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and a world overflowing with everyday magic. We talked about how as adults we get disillusioned, we put up our guard, and we assume we finally see the real world for the harsh place it is.
But based on the cognitive science and the frameworks we've explored today, we have to question that.
Exactly. I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. If that invisible realm of childhood magic is actually the truth, and if a disciplined, relentless practice of gratitude is the master key to unlocking it again, what if our much-praised adult realism is actually just practiced ingratitude? What if being a cynic doesn't make you smarter? It just means your brain's reticular activating system is stuck on a threat loop.
That's a heavy thought.
Think about your own life right now. What hot coal of resentment or frustration or deep disillusionment are you currently clutching in your hand? What malware is running in your background? And what might happen if, starting tomorrow, you used a simple, disciplined practice of saying thank you to finally force yourself to drop it? Maybe, just maybe, it would feel a little bit like waking up on Christmas morning. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.